Shafer and Clinton Suggs were two of Dorothy and Max Suggs' 4 children. They grew up in Elkhart and were decorated athletes who went on to successful athletic and military careers, respectively. Shafer Lee Suggs was born April 28, 1953 in Elkhart. He was the oldest of the 4 Suggs children.
My sister Veronica, and then she was second. I was first. I was the oldest. Then my brother Clinton was third, and then my brother Michael was fourth. So there was 4 of us total. And, just growing up, 709 South 9th Street was our street. And, we went to Lincoln Elementary School. We spent a lot of time at McNaughton Park. McNaughton Park was a place to go where there was a lot of things going on. And, it was just fun times. Yeah, we were a very close-knit family. I think they experienced some of the same. If you get a visual of our lives, and if you kind of follow each of our lives, we all were relatively very successful, but we all can probably tell you the same story.
He attended Elkhart High School and played on the basketball, football, and track teams. While in high school, Shafer accomplished much in athletics.
When I look back on that, sports was really a big highlight for me. I mean, it was a dream to play for the Elkhart Blue Blazers. Growing up in Elkhart, there was a lot going on. And during 1969, and 1970, there was the Black awareness presence. You had the Black Panthers, you had Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, you had Malcolm X. There's a lot going on as it pertains to Black history. But I also remember really struggling with my identity because, I was somewhat multicultural, even though I was African American, but I spent a lot of my time doing things that I was criticized for because I was perceived to be acting white because I was in Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, I was in band, I was in the Soapbox Derby. And I kind of caught myself between 2 races. And I really struggled with that. And especially going through that whole Black identity thing. And I think as a teenager, you combine that with me getting hurt, I really, really struggled with that. And sports was that haven for me.
He was an all-state defensive back, lettered 2 years in football, basketball, and track, was the leading scorer in basketball in 1972, played on the state runner-up basketball team in 1971, and on the state championship football team in 1971. In 1972, he was the sectional winner of low hurdles and ran on a mile relay team that placed 4th at the state track meet. Suggs graduated in 1972 as a standout 3-sport athlete. Continuing his athletic career in college at Ball State University, he was a starter for 4 years in football and played as a starter for 3 years in basketball. While there, Suggs set the school record for 8 interceptions in a season in 1975 and career interceptions with 14. As a senior, he was the Mid-American Conference Defensive Player of the Year and was an AP second-team All-American. In 1976, he entered the NFL Draft, where in the second round he was drafted 33rd overall by the New York Jets. Suggs played 5 seasons as a safety in the National Football League with the New York Jets and the Cincinnati Bengals. A defensive player, he led the Jets in tackles in 1978 and 1979 and scored a touchdown on a 37-yard interception on Monday Night Football in 1979 against the Minnesota Vikings. After not being able to get a job in the NFL, Suggs played for the Montreal Alouettes of the Canadian Football League in 1981 and the New Jersey Generals of the United States Football League in 1983. Shafer currently lives in Illinois with his son, Devin, and his daughter, Faith, who is a senior at Duke University. Shafer's younger brother, Clinton Suggs, was born in Elkhart on February 8, 1956. Clinton graduated in 1974 from high school, where he had been on the football, wrestling, and track teams and been active in the drama group and student government. He went on to attend Indiana University, specializing in history and English, but dropped out after a couple of years. In the late 1970s, after working at local businesses, Suggs joined the U.S. Navy and became a deep-sea diver for over 20 years, where he earned the rank of Master Chief Petty Officer. He also earned the Prisoner of War commendations, Sailor of Year commendations, Navy Marine Corps commendations, humanitarian service medals, and several other awards. On June 14, 1985, Suggs was the only black man among 39 passengers taken hostage aboard TWA Flight 847. Suggs became part of history when his flight from Greece to Rome was hijacked by Islamic extremists. He and fellow U.S. divers were held hostage by Lebanese terrorists. Suggs was targeted for carrying military identification instead of a passport. The plane was flown to Beirut, where passengers were held hostage and beaten for 17 days. Fellow Navy diver Robert Stetham was murdered during the ordeal. His body left on the tarmac, and Suggs feared he would face a similar fate. A flight attendant, Uli Derrickson, saved his life by stopping the attackers from beating him. Her bravery Suggs always remembered.
It was devastating, and I think the reason that he's no longer with us is because he never recovered from that. It was really difficult on him. Being hijacked. He was hit in the streets of Beirut for many, many days. He was beaten. There's a lot that probably he hasn't shared. I know he used to go and speak about it. He was a pretty amazing speaker. And, but I know, just from being his older brother, that he was never the same.
Despite the hijacking and near-death experience, Suggs continued his career in the Navy before retiring with an honorable discharge in 2000, where he continued to serve his community in charity work and mentorship programs despite struggling with PTSD. He also worked for the city of Elkhart as the director of safety. After retirement, he spent his time traveling or working as an electrician on small projects for family and friends. Clinton Lee Suggs passed away at the age of 61 on June 6, 2017 at his home in South Bend.